Asila North Morocco sketching trip, here with a group from all over the world, and here sketching in Chefchaouen. We started in Casablanca to Asilah, Tangier, arrived here. We've been here for 9 days and doing sketching workshops along the way and having just a good time connecting and creating this entire trip. So you get to experience a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes on this trip in North Morocco. Let's do this. Ready? So when I'm preparing for a sketch, and if you noticed in your exercise right now, you were effectively treating your eyes and your brain like a old camera, like long exposure, or long exposure for 8 seconds. Let me close your eyes for 8 seconds. And when you close your eyes, if you hold it for 8 seconds or even longer, the longer you hold it, then you close your eyes, it makes an imprint in your mind. So if you do that, hold your eyes as open for as long as you can, like 30 seconds. Try not to blink. And if you close them, right, you see the negative. You're gonna see the bright, like because of the sun, the white walls, and then you'll see the opposite. And what I'm curious about is the negative around the tower, and that's the sky. The shape of the sky is really all I care about right now. And so I'll begin with the shape of the sky. So you can see that I'm not sitting there really trying to get too much outline. It's very just quick silhouette, and then I really want to get into the values right away. That is, I think, a solid practice sketch for this type of scene. Okay. Yeah. Maybe 5 minutes or less, 4 minutes. In that attitude, in that approach, we want to take that attitude into the watercolor. Not that hesitation, not the really timid act of developing a drawing. It's really just ba 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 ba. It's like a lot of energy. You want to throw on the watercolor. So I want you to get into this first, because I need you to get that energy out. I need you to get the hesitation out. And then we'll jump in and we'll do the watercolor. Okay. Similar process in the way that we began the last one. I want to be able to look at this and say, all right, I want to get something more or less like that on the page, but probably I want to zoom out a little more because I want to get more of this building in there. So you can be very loosey-goosey with this. You're thinking, like I'm thinking as I'm drawing. And so I don't need to erase any of this. I'm going to mix cobalt and burnt sienna, mostly cobalt. So same way that I started the sky with the colored pencil. I could start here with the watercolor. I angle the page downward so that the watercolor just falls down naturally. So that was first sky into shadows, and now I'm going around and applying some of these other colors now. And watercolor, it's a layering process, and really the first few layers are much about atmosphere. You could really do anything, I think, and then as you keep defining it and adding more layers, then it starts to form. You don't want to create a jail for your paintbrush. You can paint in a way that is like you're drawing with your pencil, and then later, then you get into define it with the shadows. The reason why I like to sketch in this process is because now I can choose what to define, what to leave out, what to be more suggestive, more, what we want to focus on. Here, I'll go around and I will initially go around to the side that is in shade. The side that has direct sunlight, I will often leave no line because then it shows hierarchy. So I can start on the shaded side, and I'll go everywhere where that is. I think this way of sketching line work and even painting, it gives you a lot more options for mistakes. I probably have tons of mistakes in there, but it's such a looseness that it gets absolved into the drawing. The watercolors, I want you to feel free in the beginning. This time, Beyonce is here traveling with us. This is her first trip joining a sketching tour. Actually,
No, it's not the first one.
no, first Morocco one. I said first time she's been in Morocco. She's been to the Spain trips.
So Asila or Asila can be two meaning. Some people call it like as a cliffs by the water, or we call it Asila is a pathway, it's a passage to somewhere. Because Phoenicians named it Zilis. Why? Because they came from Tangier and they want to go all the way down by the Atlantic Ocean, and they stopped by here. That's why the history of Asila, has been always a land of civilization starting from Phoenicians. Phoenicians were the first people that were in the city. Later on, the Romans, okay? So when we talk about this town, even it's small, it always has been a place for pirates, because if you push Asila, we are facing Portugal. And that's why this part, the Atlantic Ocean of Morocco, has been always influenced by a lot of Portuguese. And that's what we see in front of us. This is what you call Portuguese towers. And these walls or these ramparts built by Portuguese back in 15th and 16th century. Always the cities that have a strategic point, they always attacked by the pirates. I'm just talking about the old history. So when we see these walls or these ramparts are always from those ages, 15th, 16th century.
Traveling and drawing mostly because I like drawing older things because it gives you the option to give these loose and janky lines. My eye line is here, probably in the middle of these doors. So anything above that eye line is going to angle upward. So it's a good rule of thumb there. Beyond just tracing, I want to talk about line weights. I'll go to a bold, your size 8, because it's closer to us. That gives nice hierarchy. And once I get to like an inside edge, probably switch to a little thinner. So that's a repetitive process. You see it's like thicker here, a little thinner back there. I can add some elements in pen without pencil. And when I get to the brick wall, I didn't do any of the brick or the stone wall. So here I'll just draw like the architectural rhythm. I don't need to go in individual stones for those keystones in there, like right for the arch. Then I'll go around and do clusters, stone clusters all around. There, that's a good cluster. Then I work over here. The eye will finish the rest of that. Okay, and now we'll go in probably 2 phases of watercolor. So we can start with like an under layer, and I'll first do like a sky. Just put this wash of sky. So I'll just start here, the sky. So I'm just gonna switch it up. I'm gonna go straight into raw sienna here. First layer can be very loose. I keep mentioning that, but it should be loose. All here, I'll apply it everywhere. First layers are pretty light, and then on top of this layer, then I would go dark shadows. I'm gonna just take this to the sun real quick. All right, I'll jump in now. This is second round. Just going to go in now and look at the shadows. I've got shadow violet that I'm working with. Go straight into this. You can already start seeing that the values are helping the image. So these, you want these to be pretty rich. Like you want to load your brush here, and pretty rich shadows. Okay. So all this is in shade 2. All right. Mixing brown into that blue, whatever I had on the page. Very good, everybody. So, as we've stopped now in Asilah for a couple of nights, it's a town of 40,000 people, but the Medina is very small, and it just invites you to really slow down, I feel. The whole point of slow travel is that we really get to absorb our environment, absorb the spaces that we're in, feel the rhythms of the environment, hear the sounds, get to sort of feel what it's like to live there. And I think that's what really is the beauty of urban sketching, is that you get to really feel and experience what it's like to be a local in that environment.
Asila!